This video is a basic review of the coordinate grid. While you're watching, you should be taking notes on the paper provided to you by Ms. Knez so that you have something to reference when it's time for your problem set. Here on your paper and on my screen, you can see quadrant 1 of the coordinate grid. It's the only quadrant you've seen so far. On a coordinate grid, we have two axes. The first axis runs side to side, and it's called the x-axis. Go ahead and add x-axis as a label in your notes. The second axis in a coordinate grid is called the y-axis, and the y-axis runs up and down, or vertically. Go ahead and label your y-axis y-axis. The other important label to have on our coordinate grid is called the origin, and the origin is the starting point. It's the coordinate pair 0, 0, where we haven't moved side to side or up and down yet. Go ahead and label the origin in your graph. Remember, at any point you can pause the video to make sure that your notes match mine. On a coordinate grid, we plot something that's called an ordered pair. An ordered pair tells us the location of where a point on the grid belongs. For example, if I have an ordered pair that is 3, 4, that tells me where I need to put my dot on the graph. Ordered pairs are always listed as x, y, which means we first ask ourselves, how far side to side? Then we ask ourselves, how far up and down? When I think about plotting a coordinate pair, I want to first find where my x value is on the x-axis. So let's look at 3, 4 as our example. I know that my x-coordinate is 3, which means that my point on the graph is going to line up with the x value of 3. I know that my y value is 4, which means my point is going to line up with the y value of 4. I can simply trace the lines on my grid to find the point where these two intersect for an ordered pair of 3, 4. Another way to think about how I just plotted this point is I moved 3 spaces side to side and 4 spaces up. The x-coordinate tells me how far to move side to side, and the y-coordinate tells me how far to move up. Remember, it's important that you always pay attention to the order. X comes before Y in the alphabet, and we have to move side to side before we move up and down. Go ahead and pause this video to make sure you're caught up with me on notes, and then we'll do another example. Your notes should match mine now. Let's try a new coordinate pair. This time, we'll plot 5, 1. Please pause the video and try to plot 5, 1 on your graph before you see me find the answer. To plot 5, 1, you want to find 5 on the x-axis and 1 on the y-axis. You could also think of it as moving 5 spaces side to side and 1 space up for a coordinate point here of 5, 1. Remember, we're always moving side to side before we move up and down. X, y. We'll do one more example. This time, let's plot 0, 7. Pause the video again so you can try this on your own before you check your answer. To plot 0, 7, you move 0 spaces side to side because the x-coordinate, the side to side, is 0. You simply move 7 spaces up for a point of 0, 7. If you had a coordinate that was in the reverse, for example, 7, 0, you would do the opposite. You move 7 spaces side to side, but you don't move up and down. The 0 coordinates simply tell you that you do not have to move side to side or up and down because there's no x coordinate or y coordinate. Well, I shouldn't say there's no coordinate. The coordinate is 0. This video summarizes how I'm expecting you to plot coordinate pairs and also how to identify the coordinates of coordinate pairs, which is our learning target for today. After you finish this video, it's your job to complete the practice problems that are located on the next pages of this problem set. If you have any questions, please raise your hand or come over to Ms. Kness.